Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Makona Man at YouTube with another model video. Reviewing the PROWIN SG-530 airbrush adjustable, or a gravity feed double action, from a Taiwanese wholesaler manufacturer. This appears to be a near clone of the Japanese Airtech Beauty 4 airbrush, which can be easily confused for a Harder and Steenbeck evolution. Rebadged and resold by the scale model suppliers as SMS Dragonair at a retail of 125 Australian. This is a fairly unusual situation of a buyer's beware, a common complaint of constant clogging and lack of pressure. Sometimes paint, air or thinner escaping the crown or join to the nozzle. Very bad and rapid case of dry tip, causing the issues to exaggerate from the norm. I adjust and repair airbrushes in my hobby shop and have received 3 of these. These are slightly used by fairly competent hobbyists. Otherwise, this example is packaged as if new. You have a soft aluminium alloy airbrush body with steel components and parts in a plastic case with a latch and a dense foam protection. In addition of 2 threaded paint cups with friction fit lids, a really handy and well designed nozzle wrench which I'll probably retain and keep using, a vintage rubber hose adapter, and an isometric engineering view of the dismantling of the airbrush and a parts list with no further instructions or specs information. Always recommended with all new or recently acquired airbrushes is to completely dismantle it and practice putting it back together in a working format. It was also important to thoroughly inspect to make sure there wasn't any user damage around the needle or nozzle and give it a much thorough, deeper clean. It came apart just like the Airtech Beauty 4, down to the ribs in the needle and the hex nut at the base of the larger nozzle. It was very straightforward stripping it down, though I did find the threads to be very short and little pitch, leading it to easily cross thread if you're not too familiar with precision tools like this. Not good for a beginner. Like all of my airbrushes and review tutorials, metal on metal causes friction, especially of the same type of alloys, and is not mechanically great or the smoothest in operation. If leaks, it could seize. I definitely promote the use of some sort of lubricant. I prefer petroleum jelly, and coat the inner rear of the main body, any sort of light glazing to the air valve, and the rear needle guide and trigger assembly, the sleeve and spring. With a Q-tip, I just generously swab it all out. Proceeding to assembly, first it's confirmed that it does have the Airtech style nozzle with a bolt based and a larger screw that's easier to glide in with a very neat wrench for tightening. I do admit that the wrench design is new to me. Tighten with the strength of one finger to make sure not to shear off. The nozzle crown is threaded on top. Next, the air valve assembly. The little T-trigger hops straight through the top opening. It happens to funnel in quite easily. The valve screws in underneath and the trigger ball joint sits on top. A little archway goes behind the trigger. The trigger mechanism assembly involves the spring going over the needle guide and the needle guide going through a sheath that's also partially external to the airbrush, which is threaded through the rear, making contact to the arch connecting to the trigger. Pulling it back should trigger everything backwards. Guide the needle through the needle guide until seated, approximately 1 to 2 millimeters out the nozzle. This close-up showcases that there is no damage on either piece. Screw in the needle nut, pinching the needle guide to make sure everything goes backwards and forwards. Attach the rear cover over the needle to protect that. I had a lot of trouble biting onto the thread if it was cross-threaded by the customer or as is, unsure. The needle stopper is optional. If you don't use it, don't bother. Screw it in too much and you won't get that much paint flow. You get two highly polished stainless cups and they thread on top of the opening. Concluding the assembly, which is again identical to the Airtech Beauty4. It looked good. It doesn't have any internal rattles. Nothing crazy stands out. There's a lot of polish and nice metals, but the threads are a bit concerning. The metal does also feel a bit softer and rounded off. Now for the tests. First we are threading a 1/8 inch braided hose to a air source. I'm using a cheaper small compressor at 12 to 15 psi. It'll work on any Houshing manufactured compressor, which is almost everything available in hobby shops today. Doing the leak test, the first airbrush did leak terribly through the silver to black seam. This one is tight and fine, but once there is a breach there, the airbrush is completely bricked and will not work or atomize correctly. We got even in good coverage on the spoon test. To make it as fair as possible, and I had a thinned example in the cup just then, I'm using the finest and best quality paint that's available, which flows pretty well in most to mediocre airbrushes. Airs will not react the same if you're using anything like acrylics polyurethane such as Tamiya or Vallejo. It'll probably splutter and clog a lot more often. So far the faults have subsided with proper adjustments, lubricating and a full clean. I got a reasonable thin line, thicker lines, shading and intricate shapes. The atomization is very tight and buttery smooth, which is fairly common with drop-in or any type of needle nozzle that's not high-sing. On the first pass, pretty much the same as Airtech. Throwing down the second airbrush and doing the same tests. This one also was not leaking from the end seam. The paints have been thinned to the usual watery viscosity using automotive lacquer thinner. This is all lacquer paint, the easiest stuff to paint. The spoon and paper tests also all came out pretty good and not too much issues. What I found to be very awkward is it's sprayed at a slight angle, not dead center, thus making the lines a little bit more fatter and gradient slightly sloppier with hotter spots. I adjusted the nozzle crown and checked the needle nozzle. It's not aligned too well and very quickly developed dry tip. Cleanup was straightforward and easy to do. Reclaim the paint, wipe out the cup, add gun cleaner and jet bubbled it, followed with thinner and got everything out of the system. What was interesting, as the nozzle is still clogged, I started getting air seeping from the seam and thinner started pouring out and bubbling underneath the nozzle crown. This happened to both airbrushes. As I did further spraying, leaving the crown dirty, the pressure lowered and it started clogging significantly more, becoming a little bit frustrating. The answer would clearly be to clean the crown very frequently, but this is just with one pass of paint and there's already issues. The hallmark from an okay cheap $30 high-sing to a very quality build expensive Airtech H&S Gallier is ease and how quick you can clean the airbrush to add in the next color, and if there's any dry tip or paint left over in the crown, interrupting airflow and disturbing atomization. Sometimes cheaper airbrushes has an incompatible crown and you need to loosen it slightly to have enough gap to atomize well, and they may build up a bit of paint. Once you start experimenting with crowns and using different ones and tips, you can get a large buildup of paint and spluttering in an intermediate amount of time. If you're in possession of one, you can buy some aftermarket crowns and refit them to see if you get improvement of performance, but once you get further breaches in the seal between the nozzle and the paint reservoir to leak air, it will no longer operate ideally. Being at the retail price equal if not greater than the original Airtech, which I admit is a bit hard to acquire, I cannot recommend this airbrush and would not pay for something that operated below a high sing. It's good, but this single flaw makes it inexcusable, and the other issues mentioned makes it a bit irritable. Apologies for the downer video, but I couldn't really find any posts or reviews online covering any of this, and hope this is helpful for those trying to sort out and select an airbrush. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content and we'll catch you guys next time. See you later.